in today's episode, we're going to be talking about food.
I love it.
Me too. Oh man, do I love food.
One of the greatest things on earth.
Yeah, so I was noticing that you can find food throughout the entire Bible.
Honestly, literally the whole entire Bible is just about
literally
about food.
From the beginning throughout the whole thing, because they start in a garden.
True.
Where literally the dilemma is food.
That's true, huh?
And to put it like super basic, but obviously the dilemma is to follow God or to disobey, but it's using fruits, like trees. So
even like in the New Testament, like the 9 fruits of the Spirit.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
The other one I was thinking from the Old Testament is manna from heaven.
Oh, snap. Yeah. Huh?
Yeah. So there's that. There's from the New Testament, there's Jesus feeding the 5,000 and then even the 4,000.
Yeah.
And that from barely any food to a lot of food.
That's true. That's wild. That's wild to think about.
I know. And then even Jesus, when he's telling the people, don't worry about the clothes that you wear or the food that you're going to eat because God will provide it.
That's very
even
true.
In parables, there's food.
That's true.
The sower of the seeds.
Yeah.
Like food is
literally everywhere though.
Yeah. So why do you think it's throughout the entire Bible? You know, why food?
Diving into it. I mean, honestly, when we're going to talk anything about who Jesus Christ is or who the Messiah is, you're always going to hear me say, I love it. It's one of the coolest parts of the Bible.
For real.
Food's just another example of that. Because when we look at what food is, like in what instances the food has been used in the Bible, I think it's very important. Even, again, starting from the beginning, right? God, he told Adam and Eve, he's like, you guys can eat from whatever tree you want to eat, from whatever fruit you want to eat. Just don't eat from the forbidden fruit. All right, so it's like there has to me, it seems pretty clear, there has to be a significance to what food is and what partaking in food is. And man, let me see if I wrote it down. Because I know Paul, he talks about food. Yeah, I didn't write it down. But Paul at one point, he talks about you can eat whatever you want. Like any foods that God has here on this earth, go ahead and eat it. The only food that is forbidden for us as Christians to eat is food that is sacrificed to another god.
That reminds me of when Jesus was talking about that it's not what you eat that defiles you, but what you talk about.
Yeah.
See, food again.
Yeah, exactly. So like it brings up the questions like what is food in a sense? Like what is the significance of what food is, right? And like bringing it to the Last Supper. Right, Jesus Christ, he said, this is, eat of my flesh, drink of my blood. This is my covenant with you, with me and you. And I will not again have this with you until we do this in heaven. Right. So like okay, I wrote this one down. Melchizedek in Genesis 14, 17 and 18. Right. And I'm going to tie it in here. All right. But Melchizedek, this is after Abraham. He fought the 5 kings of Sodom or something like that. And he won. Right, and then all these kings come up to him, and it says this king Melchizedek, the prince of Salem, he comes in, and he gives Abraham wine and bread, or it's either he gives it to him or Abraham gives it to Melchizedek, right? But it is this Melchizedek, in a sense, representing who the Messiah would be, right? Because the name Salem in itself is peace. So Melchizedek is the Prince of Peace, which is kind of cool. You know, we got Jerusalem, whatever. Besides the point. Either way, like it's clear that these are covenants, right? So like with what Jesus did at the Last Supper, he made a covenant with everyone. You know, in the sense of what happened with Abraham and Melchizedek, he was making a covenant with the Prince of Peace. You know, so it's even cooler to see to me, just because what happened in the Garden of Eden. You know, like it's clear, it's to me it seems pretty clear that you can have a covenant with God with good things, but you can also have a covenant with bad things.
Oh, okay.
You know, and like what Paul was saying, you know, make sure you can eat whatever food you want, but if it's sacrificed to other gods, don't eat it. You know, so it's like when we do that, when we participate in like food with another god in mind, it's like we're making a covenant with that god. You know, and it goes back to what we've been talking about with like in James, you know, your faith is displayed in the works that you do. You know, if we say that we believe in only one Messiah, only in Jesus Christ, you know, then all of a sudden we're out there being like, let's go eat this food that's praised to another God. You know, it seems like it's almost as if we're saying, you know what, I'm okay with praising another God. So like just that in itself, I think is really cool to see what food is in terms of the context of the Bible, you know? So again, it's a great topic to see, like, where do we find Jesus Christ even in this?
For real.
So, yeah.
You waiting on me, bud? I thought you were going to keep going.
No, that's pretty much it.
I was like, yeah, wow, tell me. Where do we find Christ
Oh,
in food?
you want me? Okay.
Yeah, go for it. I'm listening.
All right, so yeah. I mean, just even in that verse with Paul, you know, again, it's like, how do we approach food in our daily life, right? And like even going back to Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, they all have the laws of how to eat food, how to prepare food, what food to eat, and all that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when you were talking, because they even used food or animals in a sense for sacrifices.
Yeah, exactly. Right, and then, I mean, now you got me talking about that.
Sorry.
No, it's good. So
never mind. Don't go on a sidetrack.
No. This is honestly,
okay.
I think, really cool.
Okay,
because
cool.
Again, it's like, how do we find Jesus Christ even in that, right? So like in the laws of eating food and animals and stuff, right? There's like the holy parts of the animal, and then there's the parts that are thrown away. You know, like the dung and I forget what else.
Some like
gall.
tendons, I think.
Yeah, so certain things are thrown out, but it says when these things are sacrificed, they are made holy, right? So anytime somebody made a sin or committed a sin, or they wanted to give thanks to God or make a vow to God, it would come with the sacrifice, present it to the priest. And the priest would, you know, kill it, put it on the altar, let it burn and stuff, throw away all the parts that were not supposed to be used, and then the only people that were allowed to eat it were the priests themselves. And that in itself, I think, is so cool. Just because, again, it shows that covenant that we as Christians should have with Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know, anytime we are making a covenant with Jesus Christ, anytime we do approach Jesus Christ, wanting to know who He is even more, again, we get rid of everything, all the bad stuff, right? Like our old is passed away once again, you know. But what is left is what is truly of God, what is truly righteous. Again, those who are truly looking for who Jesus Christ is, there's no need for anything else. You know, like there might be people out there that are like, you know, I like this version of Jesus Christ, but I also like what these people say about this person as well. You know, in a sense, like, that's all extra flesh. I mean, we can talk about the circumcision of the heart too, but in terms of what food is, that's just extra flesh that needs to be burned away.
Oh,
you know?
I remember now a verse where Jesus was talking about beware of the leaven of the Pharisees.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So much food. This is so cool.
Honestly, like, talking about food in the Bible is honestly really cool. Again, it's one of those moments where I was like, man, there's a lot to talk about even here.
I know. So. Now I'm just getting all these verses because I was just trying to think, you know, in general about food when we decided to do this topic. And so many things popped into my head. But now even just talking about it, so many more things are coming up.
Exactly. And like you bringing up the topic of manna, right? Like the manna is the food that the Israelites got to eat in the desert. You know, and like this was sent by God.
Yeah.
Food from heaven. You know, and like that in itself showed exactly what the Messiah would do. Right? So this manna, God told them, you guys are to pick it every single day, and you guys are only going to have enough for the day. Don't overstock it, because if you do, it's going to rot. Right? And then it says on Saturday, or the day before the Sabbath, right? The day before the Sabbath is the only day where you can stock up double of what you need, because on the Sabbath you won't be able to pick any. Right? So again, understanding what manna is.
Yeah.
Manna is food from heaven. You know, and like it says in Deuteronomy, and Jesus Christ even told Satan this in the wilderness, you know, it says, man shall not live on bread alone, but on the words of God daily.
Yes.
Right? So even that in itself, it's clear. This manna represented the word of God that we live on daily. And in a sense, we don't live in an overstock with it, but we daily go through life consuming more knowledge, more understanding of who God is and who the Messiah is. Again, what we've been doing here.
Yeah, this is so cool. I feel the revelation coming. I can't quite put in words what I'm getting, but I'm getting what you're laying down.